Coming up tonight on our first episode of Weekend Review, new developments have been made for the land of former Press Bar and Parlor. Find out what the city of St. Cloud has planned.
And then a Ramsey County sheriff had to use his squad car to stop a dangerous suspect. Find out the details on what happened.
But first, a missing and runaway teenager was recently spotted in St. Cloud. Find out what you can do to help them.
Weekend Review starts right now.
Adams.
And I'm Brooke Pierowitz. Thank you for joining us.
We start tonight's show with Wilmer police looking for a missing 13-year-old girl. Sienna Azure Dishquet was last seen in St. Cloud with two other girls who left their group home with Sienna. The Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension says she left the group home September 11th and her current location is unknown. The BCA also says they received a tip that she is on her way to Oregon and is trying to stay safe. If you see Sienna or know her whereabouts, please contact the Wilmer Police at 320-235-2244.
Our campus is in mourning over the passing of communications professor David Warren, who passed September 17th. Warren came to St. Cloud State in 1988 as an SCSU speech coach. While here, he served as a faculty director for advising and student transitions. He was an active member of the Faculty Association, serving as Communications Studies Faculty Senator IFO board member, FA treasurer, local and statewide government relations committee co-chair, and faculty athletics advisory committee member. Colleagues described him as a gentleman with a kind soul who was humorous with a sharp intellectual irony. His teaching empowered students to find their voice and to connect with one another and the university. David is survived by his wife, 2 children, and 1 grandchild. He will be missed by many.
And the campus of St. Cloud State is hosting an exhibit that is opening the minds of participants and challenging their inner biases. UTVS news reporter Allison Schwengler has the story.
The Bias Inside Us is a traveling exhibition from the Smithsonian Institution that has resided at St. Cloud State in the Atwood Memorial Center for the past month. This exhibit examines the science and history behind bias and encourages visitors to counter their implicit biases.
I think everybody should become aware of their unconscious bias, and this is an incredible opportunity because it engages people in a thoughtful experience. It presents information to them, questions to them that they can consider within the quiet of their own mind.
Through its time at St. Cloud State, over 2,000 people attended the exhibit and the online speeches associated with it. The exhibit was open to the public and everyone was encouraged to attend.
This is my second time going, and even going back a second time, there's things I didn't notice before, there's things I learned the second time. There was a lot of scientific information that I didn't know before, some specific statistics and facts, but there was also a lot of just beautiful art that kind of gets you thinking of stuff that you haven't thought about before.
By the end of 2025, the exhibit will have traveled through most of the United States, giving everyone the opportunity to learn about their inner biases.
The Bias Inside Us exhibit is leaving St. Cloud State, but you can always check out the online exhibit at the Smithsonian website. Reporting from St. Cloud, I'm Allison Schwengler, UTVS News.
If this is something that interests you and you want to know more, there's some good news. The exhibit did get extended until September 30th, and for more information, you can visit the exhibit in person at the Atwood Gallery.
A once popular spot in downtown St. Cloud may have finally be getting a new lease on life. UTVS reporter Nick Maxson has an update on what was a downtown icon.
To a tragic fire, new plan to build something from the ashes.
Cowboy Jack's, which is the Midnight Company, they own the building right next to it, and they haven't been able to open because of the wall, and obviously COVID hit right after. We didn't expect, I thought, in fact, last year the biggest thing we would have would be the fire of the press, and of course COVID eclipsed that by far. So they haven't been able to open, but they now completed a sale, so that group has now owns half of the property.
The other half will be purchased by the city of St. Cloud, a move yet to be approved by the City Council.
So now we'll start our process in the next several weeks, so we'll bring that to the council. Basically, the owner of that property has an assessed value that is owed to the city for all of the cleanup. Rather than wait for 5 years for that to happen, if ever, and then of course we go through an empty block for 5 years, we'll forgive that. That forgiving of that assessment will actually be enough for the purchase price to buy that land, so there won't be any additional cost to the city, and we'll be able to make that go forward. And our goal is to kind of push the folks on the development side to do that as soon as possible, so we can remove the fence, fill the hole, and actually start their construction or remodeling, and allow us to create that green space for the spring once we get through the winter cycle.
And guys, you can see behind me that the pile of dirt is still here in the aftermath of that tragic fire. Now, we reached out to the After Midnight Group, the parent company of Called by Jex, for comment on the reach and purchase, and they did not immediately return our calls. Reporting live from downtown St. Cloud, I'm Nick Maxon for UTVS News.
Andrew Welsh, the owner of the Press Bar, is still facing 3 federal charges, including arson. No court date has been set in his case.
And Eric Putnam, the senator of Minneapolis, or actually St. Cloud, is hosting a town hall meeting this Thursday, September 23rd at the Great River Regional Library. The meeting is from 7 to 8 p.m. in the Bremer Community Room, and town hall meetings are open to anyone wanting to attend, and registration is not required, but it is encouraged. To register, visit the link below.
Moving closer to home, the surge in positive COVID-19 cases in Stearns County is causing CentraCare to reinstate their visitor restrictions. Starting today, September 21st, patients who are minors are allowed 2 healthy adult visitors. For adult patients, only 1 healthy visitor is allowed. CentraCare's long-term facilities do not have the same restrictions due to different regulations. All visitors must wear a mask in all areas of the hospital.
Johnson & Johnson released new data this week that supports the protective ability of its COVID-19 vaccine. The data also revealed the effectiveness of a booster shot. This comes amid growing concerns about the reduced protection of COVID-19 vaccines as time passes since the last dose was given. J&J has approved this information to the Food and Drug Administration and plans to submit it to other regulators to inform ongoing vaccine and booster dose strategies.
Taking a look at today's COVID-19 update for the state, the Minnesota Department of Health reported just over 2,400 new cases of COVID-19 and 24 additional deaths. The state reached over 8,000 deaths since the start of the pandemic. Nearly 3.2 million Minnesotans have completed their vaccine series.
A man is in custody nearly 3 years after a fatal shooting in Hibbing. On Christmas 2018, Jerome Spann got out of his vehicle and opened fired shots into a group of people after getting into a dispute with one of the victims. 34-year-old Gerald Macbeth was fatally shot and another person was wounded during the shooting. Spann opted for a judge to decide his fate, resulting in a murder and assault charge.
The wife of Minnesota lawmaker is facing charges of misdemeanor assault after she hit him in the chest with a broom multiple times. Charlotte Tomasoni, the wife of State Senator David Tomasoni, is charged with a misdemeanor domestic assault after the incident took place early Sunday morning at their place of residence in Chisholm. She also threatened to stab David if he came upstairs. Police state she was slurring her words and appeared to be intoxicated. She is currently in St. Louis County Jail, where she denies the assault.
3 Minnesotan teens were beaten with a gun early Sunday morning. Sioux Falls Police spokesman Sam Clemens says the assault took place around 1 a.m. when the teens got into an altercation with 2 men. After being transported to the hospital, the severe head injuries of one of the teens required staples. The suspects have not yet been found.
A scary situation for a Ramsey County sheriff yesterday as he feared for his life responding to a domestic assault situation in Mounds View. When authorities arrived, he began firing a gun at the approaching officers. Ramsey County Sheriff's Office said in a statement, the suspect narrowly missed a Mounds View officer and sheriff's deputy. The deputy then used his vehicle to hit the suspect to stop the situation. The suspect was taken to a Minneapolis hospital where he later died due to his injuries.
Continuing our coverage of the 4 bodies abandoned in a cornfield in Dunn County, Wisconsin, 38-year-old Anthony Suggs of Scottsdale, Arizona, is facing 4 counts of second-degree intentional murder after telling his father he, quote, snapped and shot a couple of people. His father, 56-year-old Darren McWright, has been charged in Wisconsin with 4 counts of hiding a corpse. Suggs is in jail in Arizona, but is waiting to be taken back to Minnesota for a trial.
Minneapolis authorities report that there were 7 shootings during a 26-hour span over the weekend. By the end of the spree, there were 11 people injured. 2 of them were in critical condition. After being robbed at gunpoint, 1 man was dropped off at a hospital with a gunshot wound. Police say he is expected to survive.
Coming up after the break, earlier this week, President Joe Biden gave his first address to the United Nations. Find out what he had to say.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique. And your mother. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
Honorary Forest Ranger Betty White here, lending a hand to my dear friend Smokey Bear, because for years he's only said,
only you can prevent wildfires.
But there's a lot more to say, like if you park your car on tall, dry grass, the hot exhaust pipe can start a wildfire. So keep the animals safe, especially the cute shirtless one. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
There are a lot of ways to reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
President Joe Biden addressed the United Nations Tuesday morning over various topics: climate change, the pandemic, and the reason behind the U.S. pulling troops out of Afghanistan were all on Biden's agenda this morning. CBS reporter Michael George has the details.
Joseph R. Biden Jr.
Standing before world leaders for the first time since U.S. troops left Afghanistan, President Biden defended his decision to end the war.
For the first time in 20 years, the United States not at war. We've turned the page. All the unmatched strength, energy, and commitment, will, and resources of our nation are now fully and squarely focused on what's ahead of us.
Mr. Biden also called for intensive diplomacy to combat climate change and COVID-19.
Bombs and bullets cannot defend against COVID-19 or its future variants. To fight this pandemic, we need a collective act of science and political will.
President Biden was only here at the UN for about an hour, the White House says, due to COVID concerns. Tomorrow, he'll convene a virtual COVID-19 summit. Monday, the UN Secretary General told reporters the relationship between the U.S. and China is completely dysfunctional and warned it could lead to a new Cold War.
We are not seeking a new Cold War or a world divided into rigid blocks. The United States is ready to work with any nation that steps up and pursues peaceful resolution to shared challenges.
This is the first in-person General Assembly in 2 years because of the pandemic. More than 100 world leaders are expected to address the General Assembly from the podium. Michael George, CBS News, the United Nations.
The federal appeals court will make a decision on Missouri's abortion law case. This law is aimed at banning abortions around or at 8 weeks. It also keeps people from having an abortion if the child has Down syndrome. Depending on how the federal appeals court rules, Missouri will be able to implement this law limiting abortion. The court is being in the process Tuesday, but isn't expected to make a ruling for several weeks. The Missouri Attorney's Office is defending the law.
A boy is now in custody after a school shooting that happened Monday in Newport, Virginia. 2 students were taken to the hospital due to gunshot wounds, and at least 2 others were also taken to the hospital due to other wounds related to the shooting. The shooting happened Monday morning at Heritage High School. Police believe that this attack was targeted because, quote, some type of altercation took place before this incident. They believe that the students injured knew the shooter. They are working on gathering evidence and making the school safe for students to return.
And over a dozen agents and law enforcement members searched the home of Brian Laundrie, who is wanted for questioning after the disappearance of his girlfriend, Gabby Petito. This comes one day after law officials located a body in Wyoming National Park that is believed to be Petito. The couple traveled to Wyoming during a cross-country vacation back in July. Laundrie, who is now a person of interest in the case, returned home to Florida alone September 1st. Nothing was found during the search last night.
California is making big changes in retail laws. They are the first state to block mega retailers from firing workers for not meeting quotas that interfere with bathroom breaks or rest breaks. This move came from the concern of how fast Amazon drivers were getting goods to consumers. Governor Gavin Newsom signed the legislation on Wednesday. This legislation will prohibit disciplining workers for following safety and health laws. It also will allow employees to sue to stop unsafe quotas or retaliations for not meeting them. This law applies to all warehouse distribution centers, even with Amazon being the biggest cause for this law. Some businesses, organizations object, saying that they already provide hundreds of thousands of working class people of the state. And coming up after the break, join us for updates on the volcano eruption on the Canary Islands. We'll be right back.
Every day,
millions of people are connecting. Father,
cosplayer,
mentor,
actor. It's time we take a step forward, come together,
and discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
Nobody likes an awkward silence, but you can actually use it for something good.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
There are a lot of ways to reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Volcanoes flowing on the Canary Islands won't stop, causing major concerns for area residents. The first volcano erupted in La Palma Sunday and since has not stopped. Thankfully, no one has died in the multiple eruptions that have destroyed so much of the island. Damage from volcanoes has already topped $470 million, and many have seen their homes destroyed right before their eyes.
Hundreds of Haitians are about to be deported unless they find housing and jobs. Most of these people have been here for over a decade and have no familiarity to that country. They left the country due to many issues like the president being assassinated and an earthquake that caused many homes to be destroyed.
Coming up after the break, Brooke Pirowitz will have updates on St. Cloud area sports.
Skis down, Kevin.
But I'm gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
I've taken 25 selfies in the last 10 minutes.
26.
Yep, I'm definitely gonna call a ride home.
Nobody likes an awkward silence, but you can actually use it for something good.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Every day,
Millions of people are connecting. Father,
cosplayer,
mentor,
actor. It's time we take a step forward, come together,
and discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzzed and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So, yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. This is a serious problem, but one we can solve. Visit feedingamerica.org to help. Together we can solve hunger. Together we're feeding America.
Hi, Brooke. We have some new hockey going on with their first game next week. So what are they doing to prepare?
Well, to start off, the men's hockey team will open their season in less than 2 weeks, but the NCHC conference kicked things off early with their annual media day in downtown St. Paul last Thursday. It's the first time that this has been able to happen since 2019, and both head coach and team captains were together to meet with members of the media at the Xcel Energy Center. As Denver head coach David Carl explains, it's one of the events that separates this conference from the rest in college hockey. It was just announced that the SCSU men's hockey team will be hosting an open practice this weekend. The game will take place this Sunday, September 26th, and puck drop for the scrimmage game is set for 6 p.m. on Sunday. This is the first time fans will be able to see the Huskies hockey team at home at the Herb Brooks National Hockey Center and in person since the 2019-2020 season. The practice will be free to the public and will be a great opportunity to welcome back the Huskies to the Herb Brooks National Hockey Center for their first game back. In bigger news, the St. Cloud State Athletics announced a 5-year radio relationship with Leighton Broadcasting to broadcast St. Cloud State men's hockey. Fans can find game action on KNSI AM 1450 and 99.3 FM, KZPZ HD 98.92 FM in the St. Cloud area. The new agreement with the radio media is concurrent with the upcoming 2021-22 athletic season. Additionally, there will be coverage of all Husky sports through the athletic season, including regular interviews with men's hockey head coach Brett Larson. Larson said, "I am thankful for the support and the coverage Leighton Broadcasting will provide." And moving on to volleyball, the women's volleyball team extended their win streak in the NSIC to 3 Tuesday night after beating Bemidji State with ease 3-1. After winning the first 2 sets by 16 and 12 respectively, SCSU dropped a close third set to the Beavers 23-25. The Huskies finished strong, winning the fourth set 25-22. The 20th ranked Huskies are set to take on 5th ranked Southwest Minnesota State and Sioux Falls on the road this weekend. Now let's move on to the SCSU baseball team. They will be competing in the Red and Black Fall World Series. The games will take place at Joe Faber Field on September 24th and the 25th. Game time is set for 4 p.m. on Friday and 3 p.m. on Saturday. Fans will be allowed at these games with attendance being free. Last season, the team went 22-14 and 18-9 in conference play. The Huskies finished the season strong through winning 10 of their last 12. Now let's move on to the men's and women's soccer teams. Starting with the men's team, they are coming off of a 3-1 loss at Purdue Northwest with the lone goal coming from leading goal scorer Emmanuel Iwe. Up next for the team, they will look to host Northwood University at the Husky Stadium on September 24th. Keys to the game include Iwe staying consistent and the team having good defense. Now let's move on to the women's soccer team. They are also coming off of a loss. The team hosted Minot State last Sunday and unfortunately could not get the W at home. The Huskies outshot the Beavers 17-6 but could not find the back of the net. Moving on to what's up next for this women's team, they will travel to Winona to take on the Warriors tomorrow, September 24th. Keys to the game for the women's team are to continue the aggressive offense and continue the high volume of shots on goal.
Thanks, Brooke. And after the break, find out more on a forest that is shaped like Minnesota.
Don't go anywhere. UTVS News will be right back.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover their unique mix of all kinds of traits.
Where'd Wiley go? Where's Wiley? Ah, there she is. Paw?
Do you remember being an ancient wolf? Do you ever feel the call of the wild?
You're a renegade cop, and I'm a con woman with nothing to prove. But together, we could really solve this murder.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but all of them are pure love.
There are a lot of ways to reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Every day, Millions of people are connecting. Father,
Cosplayer.
mentor,
Actor. It's time we take a step forward, come together,
and discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
In 1958, Luther Lofness of Kennebec County planted 2,500 trees in the shape of Minnesota. Lofness wanted to do something for the state's centennial celebration 63 years ago. The property, now owned by Nancy Sylvester, a relative of Lofness, says she's proud about it. Minnesota is about 460 miles long from its southern border to its northwest angle. While the mini Minnesota is about 260 feet from top to bottom, Luther's family hopes that people will enjoy the forest for decades to come.
We all know and love Roald Dahl and his books, and the streaming service Netflix has some exciting news. The streaming giant says it's planning on building a, quote, unique universe, end quote, of various products based on the Dahl stories. Netflix says the Roald Dahl Story Company has been managing his works but has recently acquired them. Netflix and the Roald Dahl Story Company have worked together before on a few animated TV series such as Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Matilda the Musical. This partnership will hopefully keep the legendary works of Roald Dahl alive. Thank you for joining us for Week in Review.
Be sure to catch us in at the same time on 10/27/21.
Have a good night.
You could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Nobody likes an awkward silence. You can actually use it for something good.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.